then the stereochemistry. Okay. Now stereochemistry, what are the things you have to study for NIPER? Already I have discussed in GPAT class, in Growell education, in various of my branches, or I have already discussed in a video class, Growell video class. So first your basic is sequence rule. You must know the sequence rule. Then E and Z are S isomers. Okay. Then you must know the difference between configuration and conformation, the difference between optical isomerisms and geometrical isomerisms. Okay. Then the next thing is you must know the stereochemistry of biphenyls. Biphenyls, which is known as atroisomerisms. Okay. Then you must know the stereochemistry of allene. Then conformation. Conformation you have already seen in ethane, butane, okay, and cyclohexane. Ethane, butane, and cyclohexane. Their energy diagram is very important, and each energy is associated with how much energy of kilojoule. That's also very important, which I have already discussed in our GPAT class. This is a NIPER test series, NIPER video. So if you want to know those things, you can go to our Growell video section in your YouTube, or you can subscribe, or you can get our video class. And after that, you must know the ring strain. The ring strain. There are different type of ring strain. Prelog strain, okay, Bayer strain. There are various type of strain. I have already discussed. This ring strain you must know. As per the ring strain, there is also Braid's rule, which NIPER asks, but it is little old school question. Normally now they ask a different manner. Okay. And then you have stereoselective and stereospecific reaction. Stereoselective and stereospecific reaction that I have already discussed in our Growell video classes. Then you must know the conversion of Neumann, Sawhorse, Wedge and Fischer, this configuration. Then is very important, U-Dysmic ratio. U-Dysmic ratio. Okay, it's a basically ratio between eutomer and distomer. Eutomer and distomer. This is also I have discussed in our Growell video classes. Then you must remember the active isomers of drug. What are the active isomers? Normally we have in a racemic mixture, there are many drugs in the racemate's form. Like for example, we have amphetamine, amlodipine, okay. Then ketamine, ketoprofen, zopiclone, salbutamol, omeprazole, this all are in racemate form. But there are certain drugs which give in a certain form, like ethambutol. In ethambutol, we must use the configuration SS plus. Okay, this is useful to treat tuberculosis. If we give RR minus, it can cause blindness. Okay, so that's why you should be very careful. Then naproxen, the next drug. It's a drug. Okay, if you give S isomer, it is active, but the R isomer, it causes liver poisoning. Okay, similarly in carbidiol, the S isomer is very important. Now normally all the L isomers of drug are active in our body because our enzymes act on L amino acids. Okay, that's why the receptor also accommodate this kind of isomeric form. But the thing is, there should be a separation of racemic mixture. If I want to get the specific configuration, then separation of racemic mixture can be done by your enzymatic method, chiral chromatography. Now, very interesting, in chiral chromatography, we use a chiral column, which is known as chiral column. which is known as Purkinje column. Sometimes it's made up of cyclodextrin, or sometimes it's made up of L-amino acid. Now, what is the basic fundamental concept of separating the chiral compound? When I want to separate dextroisomers or levoisomers from a recipe mixture, I'll pass them to certain chiral column. Now, while passing through chiral column, the enantiomers convert into its diastereomeric form. And as you know, the diastereomer can be separated easily because they have a different melting point and boiling point. But enantiomers do not. Enantiomers possess the same melting point and boiling point. So this is the way we can separate. Then the next thing we come to chiral synthesis. Now normally, when we are talking about the synthesis of chiral molecule, we can use our regular chemistry class that I have already discussed in our video, but very specifically we must know that is Sharpless epoxidation for chiral synthesis. Sharpless epoxidation. Okay, this is we use or also I have mentioned this is in our video class, so you can go through or subscribe. So then next thing is what is Wallich's rule? W-A-L-L-A-C-H, Wallich's rule. It says that the racemate crystals are more denser than their chiral counterpart. I'm repeating. Its racemate crystals are more denser than their chiral counterparts. Okay, this is Wallich's rule. So it can be a good NIPER question. Now after the stereochemistry, then next we'll go to the SAR division, structure activity relationship. What are the things we must read from the SAR? Okay. Now SAR, first thing is we have already discussed in our global class the CNS. All the CNS, SAR, the CVS including ANS, this I have already given in a PDF form, but also I'll be providing the video very soon. But for the current people, you can refer our earlier notes. Okay. Then after that, you have steroidal drugs. That's also I have given that like androgen, then estrogen, and the pregnant. This androsten, estrogen, and pregnant. These three type of basic structure, and how you modify to get different type of mineralocorticoids activity, glucocorticoids activity. Those things has to be learned. Then after that, you must know morphine, the SAR of morphines, that also I have provided. Then after that, you must know the SAR of your anti-inflammatory drugs like NSAIDs. Okay. Then after that, your chemotherapy agents like fluoroquinolones, the beta-lactams, the stereochemistry. Okay, then anti-TB drugs, how many stereo center present in ethambutol. So those kind of things are, is very important. It's known as SAR part of the the chemistry, right? Then we will move on to biochemistry part. Biochemistry part, what are the things you must know, you must learn? Number one,